Hello, everybody, and welcome to 41 Action News and KSHB.com. I'm Ryan Marshall. I have the esteemed privilege to be talking with NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick, driver of the Jimmy John Chevrolet 2014 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Hey, Kevin, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for talking with me and taking a little bit of time out of your busy day. Speaking of your busy day, I know it never gets old talking to people all over the country. Just kind of talk about some of your responsibilities outside of driving on the NASCAR circuit.
Yeah, today it's just me and the camera talking to people all over the country, so I get to sit in this dark room for a couple hours and have some conversation. But yeah, you know, I think for us, we go through about 40 weekends a year that we're at the racetracks, and then we have probably 20 or 30 of these days like this where we have media obligations on top of probably 60 or 70 sponsor appearances to go with that. So definitely have a lot of responsibilities, but I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But my favorite part is obviously getting in the car on the weekends.
Absolutely. We always love to see you out there on the racetrack. Obviously, your schedule keeps you busy. How do you balance it all between your job obligations and being with your family?
It's definitely a balancing act for sure. Obviously, I have a 4-year-old son and a wife at home, and you want to spend as much time with them as you can. So eating dinner at the table and going outside and you know, playing baseball or jumping on the trampoline or sliding down the slide, you try to take advantage of that as much as you can, because you know you're going to be gone a fair amount through the year. So I always tell people I probably during the week on a normal week you get to spend as much time with my son as probably more time with my son than a guy that works a 9-to-5 job, because I get to, you know, schedule my things around carpool drop off and carpool pickup around school. So that for me is fun, and I love you know, spending time with them.
That's awesome, you being able to have that flexibility with family. All right, Kevin, let's kind of get down to business. You're currently second in the Cup Chase standings. You've got a race coming up in Charlotte, and then in 2 weeks here at the Kansas Speedway. Just kind of talk about where you want to be. Is obviously you want to be on top, but you know, your mindset going into that race at Charlotte this weekend.
Well, I mean, the goal would be to get to victory lane, just because it gives you a lot of flexibility as you go through the 2 weeks after the race. You know, Charlotte's been a really good racetrack for us performance-wise, and hopefully we can continue that trend. Kansas has been the same way with the performance on the racetrack, and we haven't got to victory lane since I've been at Stewart-Haas Racing, but we've been right in the mix. So I think as you look at those two races, hopefully we can try to pull off a victory, but if you can't, you want to get the best finish that you can, because you know you have Talladega looming out there, that you have a lot of things that are out of your control, and you can get into an accident pretty quick. So you know, hopefully this week is a good start to it, but really in the end the ultimate goal is to just advance, whatever it takes, whether it looks good on the stat sheet or not. You just want to get to the next round.
Absolutely, and you're in that round of 12 right now, trying to advance to that round of 8. The last 3 races, Dover, you finished 37th, sandwiched that with a win in New Hampshire, and then you finished 20th in Chicago. So a couple of tough races there, of course, the one victory. What are some of those things that you kind of learned in those past couple of races that maybe you could use when you come to Charlotte, and then also when you come to this area in Kansas?
Yeah, we definitely had some things go wrong in the first round that you don't want to continue. Obviously, in Chicago, I shouldn't say obviously, but in Chicago, we had you know, pretty much a 6-inch difference between being on the lead lap and not being on the lead lap. And the way that the race fell, we just wound up never getting a caution to get back on the lead lap. Obviously, Loudon went well, and we were able to get to victory lane, and that kind of made up for the parts failure that we had at Dover. So hopefully, in the first round, we got all that out of the way, and luckily, we were able to win the race in Loudon, New Hampshire, and that covered up for the parts failure at Dover. So now that all that's gone, we can start from scratch for the next 3 weeks, and hopefully get that started off right in Charlotte this weekend.
Absolutely. Kind of working out those kinks, obviously, in Charlotte, and then the Hollywood Casino 400 here in the Kansas Speedway. You've only won here once. What do you feel like you need to do differently in order to get in victory lane like you did in 2013 here at the Kansas Speedway?
Yeah, really, I don't think we need to do anything different. You know, these races are just hard to win. You know, and there's so many circumstances that you have to play out throughout the weekend. No matter, you know, if you have the fastest car or the slowest car, you know, you can figure out how to get to victory lane if things go your way. So, you know, I think as we go back to Kansas, hopefully our cars will perform like they need to. And really, in the end, you just need the circumstances to all go your way like they did in 2013 for us, and we were able to get to victory lane. So you can't force it. That's one of the things that takes a long time to learn. You can't force victory. You have to go out and put yourself in position, and on the days that it all falls your way and you get to victory lane, you have to be really happy about it, because they're few and far between, and these races are hard to win.
Absolutely. Is there a certain place in that grid that you would like to start if you didn't start in the front of the grid? Obviously, you may not want to start in the back, but is there some place where it's more advantageous for you, or do you just kind of go with the flow of the race, don't do too much early on in the race, and give yourself a little bit of cushion to run hard at the end?
Well, I think the way that the races are nowadays, for us, we haven't qualified as well as we have in the past couple years. So we've been, you know, starting, you know, middle of the field on certain weekends, and some weekends we've qualified okay, but we haven't qualified as good over the past couple years. So we've had to navigate through the races with some traffic. You know, and we've been good at doing that. Our cars have performed well during the races, but you know, I think as you look at the weekends, especially this time of year, you want to try to position yourself as far towards the front as you can all the time, and I think you want to aggressively try to protect that track position, and if you have a chance to lead, really try to capture that opportunity to take control of the race, whether it be for pit calls or restarts. Just being in control of those types of situations puts more cards in your hands than you had before you were in those situations. So anytime we can be aggressive and try to put ourselves in position, I think we need to do that no matter what point of the race it is.
Absolutely. Obviously, you want to continue to win, or at least continue to get good finishes. You have 14 top 5 finishes this season. Obviously, you want to get that second Sprint Cup championship under your belt like you did in 2014. Just kind of talk about what it would mean to you to get that second championship under your belt, I should say.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is it took me a long time to get the first one, and I think we as a team in 2014 built a team with Rodney Childers and all the guys at Stewart-Haas Racing, and were able to get to victory lane a handful of times and win a championship, and then last year came close again, finishing second. So, you know, I think for us, that's really what we're after. We want to be competitive every week, and how it all falls in the end is how it all falls. But being competitive week in and week out, winning races and being competitive for a championship is really why I came to Stewart-Haas Racing, along with all the guys on our team, in order to do that. So I'm just really proud of everybody, and hopefully we can continue that as we move towards the end of the year.
And we certainly wish you the best of luck the rest of the way in the chase. Thank you so much to Kevin Harvick for taking the time to talk with me today.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Kevin Harvick, driver of the Jimmy John Chevrolet. Of course, you can check him out in Charlotte this week. And then in 2 weeks, the Hollywood Casino 400, that will be raced right here on 41 Action News, Sunday, October 15th at 2:15. I'm Ryan Marshall. Thanks for joining me on 41 Action News and KSHB.com. Have a wonderful day.